Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really hitting the ground running with a look at the global all-wheel drive vehicle market. We're focusing on 2025 and where things seem to be heading.
Exactly. We've got the Global All-Wheel Drive Vehicle Market Report 2025 from Cognitive Market Research here. It's dense, but packed with interesting stuff.
Definitely. And our mission, really, is to pull out the key insights for you.
Yeah.
Give you a clear picture of this whole sector. Size, growth, what's driving it, regional differences, vehicle types.
Without getting totally bogged down in data, just the essentials. A concise overview of what's happening now and what's coming next.
Okay, let's get straight to it then. The global market size numbers are pretty hefty to start with. For 2025, the projection is USD 48,230 million.
48 billion, yeah. But the really eye-catching figure is the forecast for 2033.
Right, it jumps significantly.
It does. They're projecting it to reach almost USD 99 billion, 98,959.1 million specifically.
Wow, that's more than double.
It is. It works out to a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of 9.40% between 2025 and 2033. That's, pretty robust growth.
And what's behind that surge? What's the main driver?
Well, the report really points to rising consumer demand.
Yeah.
People increasingly want enhanced safety features and better control in their vehicles. That seems to be the core motivation.
The desire for security, for stability, whatever the road conditions are like, makes sense. So geographically, where's this demand strongest? North America leads, I gather.
That's right. Currently the largest market share. We're talking over 37% of global revenue originates there.
Okay, and the value?
For 2025, it's estimated at USD 17,845.9 million, and they're expecting continued growth, projecting an 8.2% CAGR through 2033.
And within North America, I assume the U.S. is the biggest player.
Oh, definitely. The U.S. market alone is forecast at USD 14,079.78 million in 2025. Its growth rate is projected at 8.0% annually. The report links this directly to growing awareness among U.S. consumers about what AWD actually offers them.
People getting more savvy about the tech. What about Canada and Mexico?
Canada's significant, too. About USD 2,141 million in 2025. And interestingly, a slightly higher growth rate expected at 9.0%. The report suggests this is partly due to more AWD models just becoming available there.
More choice driving demand.
Seems like it. And
Yeah.
Mexico, while smaller at USD 1,623.90 million, still shows strong potential with an 8.7% projected CGR.
Okay, so North America's the current leader.
Yep.
But Europe's number 2, right? How does it stack up?
Yep, second largest. Europe holds over 29% of the global revenue share. That translates to a market size of roughly USD 13,986.70 million in 2025.
And the growth outlook there?
It's solid. The report projects an 8.4% CAGR for the market size from 2025 to 2033. So still very healthy growth expected across Europe.
Any particular countries standing out in Europe?
Well, the UK market is notable, around USD 2,350 million in 2025, and a pretty high projected growth rate of 9.2% annually. The report connects that to a trend towards multi-purpose vehicles.
Interesting. And Germany. Always a key auto market.
Absolutely. Germany's even larger at about USD 2,769 million in 2025, with an 8.6% growth projection. There, the focus seems to be more on stability and control aspects.
Right.
And you've also got Russia, France, Italy, Spain, all significant markets, each over $1 billion in 2025, and showing CAGRs mostly in the 7 to 8% range. So broad strength across the continent.
Okay. Established markets showing good, solid growth.
Yeah.
But I think the report highlighted Asia-Pacific as well as the one to watch.
Absolutely. That's where the most dramatic growth is forecast. APAC holds around 24% of the revenue share now, about USD 11,575 million in 2025.
But the growth rate?
That's the key number, a projected CGR of 12.3% between 2025 and 2033. It's clearly the fastest growing region globally, by quite a margin, actually.
12.3%, that's huge.
Yeah.
What's driving that kind of expansion?
It's likely a combination of factors: rising disposable incomes, increasing vehicle ownership in general, and a growing middle class that's prioritizing safety and capability features like AWD, especially in countries like China and India.
And China is leading the charge in APAC.
Yes, it's the largest market within the region, about USD 4,861 million in 2025, and still growing very fast at an 11.8% CAGR. Interestingly, the report links this partly to increased sales of all-weather tires.
Ah, the complementary products. Makes sense.
Exactly. And India shows an even higher growth rate, a projected CAGR of 14.2%, reaching about USD 11,157 million in 2025.
Incredible growth there.
It really is. South Korea, Japan, Australia, they're also key markets in APAC, all showing double-digit or near double-digit annual growth projections. It's a really dynamic region for AWD right now.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, moving on. What about South America?
South America represents a smaller share, just over 3.8% globally, market size around USD 1,832 million in 2025, but the growth is still strong, projected at 9.8% annually.
And Brazil's the leader there.
Yes, Brazil's the largest market, about USD 784 million, growing at 10.4%. The report links this, perhaps predictably, to a growing trend in outdoor activities and recreation.
Needing that capability for adventure.
Seems to be the case. Argentina is also growing fast, 10.7% HAGR, driven partly by more AWD options appearing in EVs and hybrids there.
Okay. And quickly, the Middle East and Africa, how do they fit in?
The Middle East accounts for around 4% of global revenue, roughly USD 1,929 million in 2025, with a 9.9% CAGR. Saudi Arabia leads that region, growing at 10.2%, also seeing a boost from EV and hybrid AWD options. The UAE and Turkey are also showing strong growth.
And Africa.
Africa is the smallest regional market currently, about 2.2% share, or USD 1,061 million in 2025. Growth is projected to be a bit more modest, around 5.5% CAGR overall. South Africa is the largest market within the continent.
Right. So a truly global picture, but with APAC really accelerating. Let's shift gears slightly and look at how the market breaks down by vehicle type.
Okay. The report suggests that commercial vehicles are likely to hold the largest share.
Which makes sense thinking about logistics, transport, construction.
Exactly. For those industries, the enhanced mobility, the traction, it's often essential for just getting the job done, especially in tough conditions. AWD helps ensure reliability.
Very practical. But is there a segment growing faster?
Yes, passenger vehicles. That segment is identified as the fastest growing.
So more everyday drivers wanting AWD.
Precisely. It reflects that broader consumer desire for better handling, more confidence in various weather conditions, balancing fuel efficiency with capability.
Okay. And what about how these vehicles are powered? Propulsion type.
Well, currently, traditional internal combustion engine vehicles, IC engines, they still hold the largest share of the AWD market. AWD just integrates well to improve handling.
But I imagine electric is making inroads here too.
Oh, absolutely. Battery electric vehicles, BEVs, are expanding rapidly in the AWD space as well. It's a fast-growing segment.
And how does AWD work with electric power? Any specific advantages?
There are definite benefits. AWD in a BEV really enhances traction and stability. Electric motors deliver torque instantly, and AWD helps manage that power effectively to all four wheels, which is great for handling and control.
Especially in slippery conditions, I guess?
Exactly. Now, looking at transmissions.
Right. Automatic versus manual. What's the split there?
Automatic transmissions dominate. They hold the largest market share. They just pair so seamlessly with modern AWD systems, automatically optimizing grip without the driver needing to do anything. It's convenient for everyday driving.
Makes sense for ease of use. But the report mentioned a faster growing segment here too, didn't it? Something maybe less expected.
Yes, surprisingly perhaps, manual transmissions are projected to be the fastest growing segment within AWD vehicles.
Really? With everything moving towards automation?
It seems so. It suggests there's still a strong, maybe even growing niche of drivers who want that more engaging, hands-on driving experience.
But they also want the performance benefits of AWD.
Exactly. They want the dynamic handling, the adaptability, combined with the control of a manual gearbox. It's an interesting intersection of preferences.
Fascinating. Okay, now drilling down into the AWD technology itself.
Right. The report uses AWD, all-wheel drive, as the main category holding the largest share here. It highlights the versatility, the automatic adaptation to different conditions for safety and comfort. It mentions both full-time and part-time systems catering to different needs.
Got it. Now, there was a slightly odd point in the report under the technology outlook. It listed catering services as the fastest growing segment. That seemed off.
Ah, yes. That looks like a clear labeling error in the source data or the report itself. The description that follows talks about automatic power distribution, improved traction, suitability for everyday driving, all clearly describing advancements or trends within AWD technology.
Okay, so we should ignore the catering services label and focus on the description, which is about AWD systems.
Exactly. It's an unfortunate typo, but the substance points towards the ongoing evolution and adoption of more sophisticated AWD tech. It happens, even in detailed reports. We just focus on the real information there.
Right, context is key. So, moving past the typo, let's look at the overall market dynamics, drivers, restraints, trends. What are the highlights?
The drivers are pretty much what we've been touching on. That core consumer demand for safety and control is number one. Then you have advancements in vehicle tech making AWD better and more efficient. And also the rising interest in SUVs and trucks for off-road or all-terrain use.
Okay, and on the flip side, what's holding it back or acting as a restraint?
Primarily, it's cost. AWD systems still add a premium to the vehicle price compared to two-wheel drive. And there's still that perception or sometimes reality of increased fuel consumption, though manufacturers are working hard on that.
Which leads us to the trends.
Yes. Two key trends highlighted are first, the ongoing expansion of AWD options in electric and hybrid vehicles. We discussed that. And second, a really strong push toward developing lightweight AWD systems. The goal is to improve fuel efficiency and minimize that traditional consumption penalty.
So tackling that main restraint head on makes sense. Finally, the competitive side. It's a tough market, I imagine.
Very competitive, yes. You've got the big global players and some regional specialists all vying for position. Names like Subaru, Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, they're mentioned as leaders, leveraging their product range, distribution, and R&D.
And the report gave some recent examples of companies making moves.
It did. It mentioned Subaru redesigning the Forester in Feb 2025, keeping its standard AWD but enhancing the traction systems. Also, Volvo launching the EX30 Cross Country, an electric vehicle specifically kitted out with AW and off-road features, again in Feb 2025.
Showing that integration into new models, including EVs.
Exactly. It also mentioned broader moves like Toyota's commitment to its European plans for EVs and Ford's big investment in German EV operations, though those are less directly AWD specific, more about the overall industry shift.
Right, so a lot happening, driven by consumer needs and intense competition. That pretty much brings us to the end of this deep dive into the AWD market report.
I think so. Key takeaways. Significant growth is happening, fueled by safety demands. North America and Europe are the biggest markets now, but Asia-Pacific is growing fastest. AWD is adapting to commercial, passenger, IC engine, and crucially, electric vehicles. And the competition is driving innovation, especially towards efficiency.
Definitely. So to leave you with something to think about, as we see this push towards EVs accelerate, and simultaneously these efforts to make AWD systems lighter and more efficient really take hold, how might that change the game? Could those traditional trade-offs, AWD benefits versus cost or energy use, start to dissolve? And could that lead to AWD becoming even more standard than these already strong projections suggest?
It's a really interesting question for the near future, isn't it? How those trends converge.
It is indeed. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.